Hi.
Mr. Ajit Balakrishnan, welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Absolutely fine.
You can see me and you can hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome to Vision India Certified Monologue Series of 500 Top Leaders. You are going to be speaking on internet and India, and you are the founder of Rediff.com, one of the proud Indians, and we are proud to welcome you as an Indian. Now, the monologue will be for 10 minutes. It starts. It's over to you, Ajit Balakrishnan, founder Rediff.com.
Okay, you can see me, Amit? You can see me clearly? Yeah? Okay. Rediff.com celebrates its 26th anniversary this year. So we are, by internet company standards, we have been around for a long time. More accurately, 26 years is counting from 1996. I started working on the project alone in 1995, checking the new technologies emerging at that time, things like HTML and all, completely new to the game. So it's quite, we've been seen through all of that. And, I was at that time I had just finished my stint by being a co-founder and managing director of something called PSI Data Systems. We were PC manufacturers based in Bangalore. Most people don't even remember that. And my two partners were Stanford computer science engineers. We designed and built from scratch the first Indian PC. Okay, and unfortunately, the market was too small. Then one of the challenges that every entrepreneur faces in India is the early adopter market is very, very small in this country and very price conscious. So we had to effectively sell our business off that year, in spite of being the first personal computer made fully in India, and then take whatever money we could get from that. And I thought to myself, what is the next big thing to do? Then I suddenly hit 1995 saying, let me do something on the internet, which is just emerging. 1995 is about 6 years before Google was founded, and maybe 9 years before Facebook was founded. Okay, Yahoo and us were among the early players. And which was a period of experimentation. I rented a 900 square feet place near here in Fort. I live in Bombay and in Colaba, so it was virtually walking distance, and started coding in HTML and things, and hired a few guys. Most of them in India did not even know what was HTML. They kept asking me, sir, what is this World Wide Web? So I had to explain to them and teach them how to do HTML coding and things like that. So JavaScript, all this is new. So it was fun. And the main issue that I wanted to think about, having been a pioneer, etc., we went through our usual thing, and we see investments and not quite knowing what they were buying, and I'm not knowing quite what I was selling at that time. But it's very important that in this 26 years that the internet has been in India, it's turning into a SAR node. You open a newspaper any day, and you get things, headlines which says, the Amazon is the, what is that phrase, the East India Company of India. Okay, others saying we need to democratize the internet, which is not there. Still others worrying about how 10, 12 small shops. In India, fundamentally, the nation of shopkeepers, they're the ones who employ most of our people. And they're threatening to be destroyed by things. And I keep wondering, what is it that we need to do to take the full benefit of the internet and the World Wide Web? Because one should not forget that India is where the origin of things like linear algebra started here, in the period BC, before Christ. Okay, and most of the, one thing I must tell you is that I spend 4 to 5 hours a day writing code in Python and R programming language. And so I'm very, very familiar with all the mathematics there. And practically everything which is called deep learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of them are based on linear algebra concepts, which were invented and created in India, nearly 2,000 years ago. So it's that India is very proud of that heritage and do that rather than just being like a small country, like, I don't know what, like Japan and others trying to make whatever you can One of the problems we have is that policymakers in the early days used to chant Ram, Ram, Ram. Today they chant FDI, FDI, FDI. That the only goal of policy making is to attract FDI, which is not true. India, the internet can transform our country to a point that nobody else can quite do. But we may need to sit together, all of us at the policy making level and entrepreneurs, and make sure that what kind of policy will make sure that small shopkeepers in India are benefited. You know, the millions of them are benefited then rather than destroyed by things like e-commerce. Okay. We also need to make sure that youngsters who are in school level now need to learn basic coding, Python and R, etc. And not wait for them to go to a postgraduate level to know them. Because it's the new information economy is very different from the industrial economy. And that's all that we need to do very, very fast. Because today what is happening is competition commission folks and others have really understood what is competition within the internet era. Okay, on the internet, competition is, there are no economies of scale. The core technology, the core economic thinking is called network effects. And network effect is something which is not taught even in our postgraduate courses in economics in any university in India. So all this is new. But the competition under network effects is very, very different from competition under for example, economies of scale, which is what the manufacturing and trading economy used to be. So we have to modulate the laws in a way that we preserve a leadership position in the internet world and not just clap, clap, clap and say X company, Amazon has bought X billion foreign direct investment and so has X company and so on and so forth. We have to be very careful about it. So I think the real challenge in front of us is to make India, become a champion in the internet world. When we say that very often, our IT services guys mean becoming a champion means to do body shopping. Provide employment to 1 million people by hiring them at 15,000 rupees a month and lending them out to Google in Bangalore at 35,000 rupees a month. That is not being a champion of. That is pure and simple body shopping, which our guys are very good at. Okay, but I think there's a lot of innovation to be done. Even our public sector labs, which are today not doing any worthwhile work, but I think they need to be staffed up with young people. The average age of many of our public sector R&D outfits, people are in the late 50s. And as you probably know, people in India stop working after 40. I must be the only 73-year-old who sits and codes for 4 hours a day. So it's very important.
Mr. Balakrishnan, just a small question, sir, because I know it's a monologue request, but it's a small question. Do you think how far in a country, in a democracy, and a young democracy, if I may still call it so, because we are looking at India for 2047 now, how relevant is education and freedom, under the Constitution, under Article 19 and 21, when you talk about the usage of internet for a country which is as vast, diverse, still coming to grips with the relevance of education. How relevant is the free use of internet or the free use of the mobile phone?
Very, very, very critical. It is not just free use. I think that alone will not be. So kids will go and just gossip on that. Just be careful. But I served on the National Commission of Education. I don't know whether you know that. And I was the one who wrote the policy on employment in education. Okay, my key the National Education Policy just came out last year. So I'm very, very familiar. And I was chairman of the board of IIM Calcutta for 2 terms of 5 years. I'm neck deep in the education mission. And I come from the Malabar area of Kerala, where education is seen to be more sacrosanct than God. Like in my district called Kannur, this year 95% of kids in the age of 10 to 15 are now attending school, 95%. So all that I'm very familiar with, but making internet free is not the only thing. We have to make sure that the competition law needs to make sure that by subsidizing, what is today, all these